going on, YouTube? You are back with the Real PG for another MLB player prop video for today, Thursday, June the 22nd. Before we get into the video, if I could please ask you guys to smash that like button. If you've not yet gotten subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe and get those post notifications turned on so you're getting the most up-to-date content on the day's slate. Before we get into the picks real quick, if you have not gotten into Sleeper yet, it is a mobile-only app you can get from your app store. They do have the ability to win up to 100x per lineup. They do not run a static pay system like Prize Picks does. Well, the way it works over there is they have a system that runs on a multiplier. So you can have somebody in your lineup where a prop is more shaded towards, let's say, the over, and you pick the under, it's going to be a higher payout. So, Taj Bradley today, over 5.5 strikeouts, was a 1.57x multiplier versus, Acuna for a hit. It was only 1.37x multiplier. So you can really get, your lineups built up pretty fast. Like I said, you can get up to 100x payout, which you can do with up to 8 men in your lineup. So you can get a 2-man for up to 5 to 8x by going with like a steal and a home run prop as your 2-man. Because again, not all props are created equally. So they got all that going on, guys. They have literally every prop the books have. They don't bump any props until the books have bumped them themselves. So they will not do what Prize Picks does and just add extra half a strikeout to everything, extra half of an inning pitch to everything just to take value away from you. You're not going to deal with any of that over at Sleeper. And last but not least, they do have the Sleeper Squad, which is like a Discord inside of the Sleeper app, which allows you to share your plays, and then people in your group can copy and tail those plays in the single click of a button. Use promo code capital letters PG to get 100% on your first deposit up to $100 matched, as well as access into the Sleeper Squad. All you need to do is DM me to get the link for the squad. I cannot get you in the squad if I don't know you signed up, guys, so please do not forget to DM me over on the Discord. Link will be in the description. Alright, let's get into the videos. It is only 1:40 in the morning. The slate just ended. We're on to tomorrow. Got some early value that I would like to look at. We can look on Prize Picks or we can look on Sleeper. The lines are very similar because it is early. So we're going to be talking Sleeper first, and since I can't show it on the screen, all I can really do is give you my word for it. So first thing we're going to be looking at is Blake Snell tomorrow. We're going to be looking at his pitching outs at over 17.5, as well as his strikeouts over 6.5. I'm not sure which one I like more yet, but let's pull him up. Let's pull a Vegas line on him as of right now. There's not much action that has happened yet, guys, so there's going to be very stagnant lines, and there's not going to be a lot of juice in one direction on these props yet, so keep that in mind. But what am I doing, Snell? Okay. So Blake Snell, pitching outs minus 150 to the over, strikeouts minus 131 to the over as of right now. Both look as I expected them to look. So let's take a look what he's been doing lately. You're not up yet, Keller. Get out of here. All right. So let's just really take away a lot of the extra. I mean, when you're capping a player, there's really no need to look outside of what they've done in the last month, because things will change very rapidly in baseball. So let's filter out some of this noise and go to a last 10 or even a last 5 overall. So over the last month, basically, tomorrow is the 22nd. So over the last 30 days, Snell has had 5 games where he started, has not gone under 6 strikeouts in those games, and has gone up to 12 in the back-to-back 12s in the last 2 games, okay? So he is going to be pitching tomorrow on the road. Okay, so let's go to his road splits. Let's go back to the last 10. So Again, it's not pretty. I mean, it's not pretty what he was doing earlier in the year. He got a very, very slow start, but I think Snell is starting to find a groove. Um, if you look at the K's last two, he's been right where we need him to be. Against Miami, who is not terrible versus lefties, and versus Colorado, who is terrible against lefties. So there's no surprise that he just put a number on these guys. And let's look at the player outs recently. This has my interest a little bit more early on, as it's not so foul looking. When you like zoom back out to the overalls, let's look at the season. Again, very slow start to the season. Let's pull the last 10 though. Even looks a lot more reputable than that does, in my opinion at least. So I think either way you go, you're going to be safe here. Let's pull up. I gotta zoom this out. Let's pull it. Where'd it go? Here we go. All right. So Blake Snell versus the Giants. Last three were last season. So let's take a look at those. Strikeouts 8, 8, and 11. Line is 6.5 tomorrow. He has hit in all three. Line is 17.5 pitching outs, otherwise known as 6 innings to hit the over. Well, he has had 6, a hook shy at 5.2, and 6 over his last three that were all last season. 2 wins and a loss. Not a bad candidate to be a fantasy point play over on Prize Picks as well when the board gets up, due to the high strikeout count as well as the length that he is pitching. If he's getting that quality start at 6 innings, it's not a bad look. The earned runs exceptionally low over the last three, was 0, 1, and 1, so he's been able to keep them in check. Just now looking at this might be something worth looking at, guys. Blake Snell balls 3-2-2-6-3-4. So he has walked the Giants an awful lot in his history. So let's live pull that up and just see how bad this really looks. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right, so we just found another play, guys. Is it really set at 2.5? Wow, that is a high line. Let me check what Sleeper has real quick. 2.5 walks. Had a 1.98 multiplier to the over, a 1.67 to the under, so they have this juice to the under currently. I would agree that I don't see Blake Snell throwing 3 walks worth of balls to San Francisco. Let's take a look at why I'm digging the K's. So when you go into lefties versus the Giants, righties versus the Giants are also just despicable. I mean, righties versus the Giants, for just your knowledge, 24.4% strikeout rate currently at this point in the season. Lefties, 25.7%, even worse against lefties. It's despicable numbers. So I definitely like Blake Snell's strikeout over it with these percentages being up near 26% currently. Let's take a look at this because I have not taken a look at this yet. Actually, I know as a fact San Francisco's looked better lately, by the numbers. Yeah, see by the numbers, they've only allowed 7 strikeouts per game over the last 3. They have not added tonight's game and where they were struck out. Let's pull this up. I believe it was a good handful of times that they got struck out tonight. Yeah, 6 from Darvish over 6 innings. So yeah, I don't see why we couldn't see 7 from Snell. I do think Snell's got better upside for strikeouts than Darvish does, just as a whole. And then lately, the way he's been looking, Very, very solid. Then you look at the past props against him. He has done a number on San Francisco. So, again, guys, I like the strikeouts because the insane 25.7% K rate. Um, can't really fight that. And when you have a strikeout percentage that high, you're going to be able to strike out tons of guys. More likely than not, he'll be able to strike out, let's call it 7. So 7 of those 18 outs we need via the strikeout. So he needs to manipulate 11 grounder fly balls throughout the course of the game. If he gets his strikeouts, very, very doable stuff. The Padres' defense is very, very solid. You know, he got some very strong arms in the outfield, able to create some big plays. Kind of like Tatis did tonight, even though it was ruled back against him. So I don't mind the Ks. I don't mind the outs. I don't know which one I'm going to go with yet. We're going to kind of see what the juice does overnight, where the money shifts, and take a better look at it in the morning again. Next play, same thing, Mitch Keller. Outs and strikeouts. He burned me on the outs last game, and I'm a little bit nervous to go back, despite having a great season so far, guys. Great season. This is his outs overall. This is his strikeouts overall. Great season, guys. Consistent as all hell. But he did burn me in last game against the Brewers of all teams. So that scares me that he just did some foul shit against us, against the Brewers, because he was on the road and he can't pitch on the road. At home, he's a killer. On the road, it's not quite as great. I mean, it's good. It's good still, but no question, it's good. But he's missed here against a couple teams, Cincinnati and Milwaukee, that he should have just done absolute work against. But he did get the Ks on both those teams. So, despite having short outings, he managed to finesse the Ks. And the only little bit of... Well, let's look at the Vegas line before I get into my spiel here. So, Mitch Keller, I'm sure he's hella juiced on outs. Yeah. Minus 192 to the over 17.5 pitching outs. So this is like the gem of the public already. Everybody just automatically jumps on the over because he has had such a great season. So I don't blame them. Strikeouts are only at minus 134. I love the strikeouts for Keller almost more than I like the outs at this point. Let's double check this. He is on the road tomorrow. Yes, he is. Okay, so let's go to the road stats. Oops, we were already on road stats. All right, so road outs, road Ks, road outs, roadhouse, Peter Griffin. Anyways, so way better on the strikeout numbers on the road, guys. He has done absolutely great against every team he should have done great against. Had a rough game against St. Louis. St. Louis definitely has the ability to not be a high strikeout team. And then back in April, early in the season, they were not. All the rest of these teams, though, he has just finessed and probably shouldn't have, you know. I mean, Seattle, San Francisco, and Milwaukee are all terrible teams for right-handed strikeouts, so very easy overs here. Tampa Bay and Baltimore, not so much. Boston, not so much, especially early in the season. And Cincy, yeah, they kind of are. So let's take a look at right-handed strikeouts to Miami. And it's not as pretty. I think they're middle of the league. Yeah, 21st. So, but they do have a 22.3% strikeout rate still, guys. So that's relatively high. And some of the other things I noticed that I do think will help him get through the 17.5 innings of work, stuff like this. So when we look at their average, or like their batting average, 249. So basically 1 in every 4 players is getting on base. ISO scores only 136. They're hitting with like zero power, guys. So when they are hitting, it's little dribblers, it's little shots to, the first baseman, shortstop, infield hits. They're not doing a lot of big stuff. WRC is real low. WRC plus at 93. Yeah, that's terrible. Let's see where that ranks on this. Yeah, like literally bottom 10 on WRC plus. So there is literally no power coming from the bats. Keller should, after looking at that, Keller should definitely get through the 17.5 outs. I do see why the juice is heavier on that than the strikeouts. Despite the strikeouts looking a lot more appetizing from a visual standpoint. But either prop I think is very good. It's what I personally did already. I paired Mitch and Blake's outs. I paired their strikeouts. So I paired their pitching outs, the 2 17.5s. I paired their strikeouts, the 6.5 and the 5.5. Then I paired Mitch's strikeouts with Blake's pitching outs, and then vice versa, Blake's strikeouts and Mitch's pitching outs. That way I have every single combination. I'm confident that both will hit both, so I'm hoping that all four of those two mans hit. So yeah, those are probably my two favorite early first looks. A couple other ones that don't hate looking at. Early Brian Wu. We don't have a lot on Wu yet, but if we're looking at his overall numbers, he's got 3 games only. Been getting better and better, and then if we look at the outs, he has been getting longer and longer leash every game too. So as his leash gets longer, he is getting more Ks naturally. Makes sense. He's got himself a pretty nice matchup tomorrow, I believe. Right-handed pitchers versus the New York Yankees. So we got right-handed pitchers versus the New York Yankees. Where you at? Gotta be up here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. 22.7% strikeout rate, 23%. Not terrible. Oh, sorry guys, we're not even on this organized the right way. There we go. I was looking for something else. Okay, so they come in at 18th. Same thing, 22.7% strikeout rate. So I don't hate that. Brian Wu, I don't know much about him, but the Yankees without Judge just aren't the same team, and I think that given his increased leash, he should be able to finesse some strikeouts out of the Yankees tomorrow. Who doesn't have a pitching line set. No, I have no interest in any of that, so move on. And last but not least, Braxton Garrett. Do have a little bit of interest in him and his strikeouts. He is a lefty, guys, versus Pittsburgh. It's not a good spot. Unfortunately, the spot's not very good, but the reason I have just some early first look interest. All right, first off, Pittsburgh 20.3%, bottom 5 in the league for strikeouts, so it's not a good spot for Braxton. But if we do look at what Braxton Garrett has done, so I figured he should be doing well against Pittsburgh, and he has done well against Pittsburgh in the past. 7 strikeouts in 2022 and 11 strikeouts in 2022, both on 6 innings of work, 2 hits allowed in both games, 1 earned run and 0 earned runs. So, I mean, if you don't like Braxton Garrett for the strikeouts, which again, bring it to the last 10, filter out some noise. 4 of the last 5, 7 of the last 8, he's gone over. Not a bad candidate for an over, guys. It's not a great spot, and he will be at home tomorrow. So trending downwards, not what you want to see necessarily, but they are all overs over the last 3. Relatively difficult matchup against San Diego. Not so much for a lefty, I guess. And these two were a breeze, so he should have got over there. I do think he's going to have a little bit more of a struggle with Pittsburgh, but I did like seeing that he had some really good solid history in like all aspects. Not only he had a good leash and went a decent amount into the game, but he had the strikeouts, he had the low ERA, he had the low hits. So I don't mind looking at the earned runs under. I don't mind looking at the walks under. Um, we can't look at the pitching outs, even if that is offered. I don't think we can look. It was actually offered at 17.5 on Sleeper, but I can't look at that. There's no way I can touch that. I mean, you could look at the under if you wanted to, I guess, but that's not something that really interests me, even at 0 of 6. Um, just a little scary to under a starting pitcher that has the potential to strike out, you know, a handful of people in a game that he can't make it through 6 innings. That makes me a little nervous. So, again, first looks, guys, nothing too big. Really, Mitch Keller and Snell for me. But there's a couple looks for you guys to bring into tomorrow. I might be hopping back on in the morning to update some looks. If not, best of luck. And until the next one, guys, get signed up over at Sleeper. If you haven't liked the video, smash that like button. If you've not yet gotten subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.